Jody Morin, head honcho, Anderson's Lodge, right?
That's right.
What's the name of this lake?
Lac Seul.
Okay, now where is it?
We're in Northwestern Ontario.
What's the nearest city?
Sioux Lookout.
And this is a real fish factory.
This is a walleye machine here.
And we're gonna have shore lunch right now. We're doing
gonna
this a
have
little
lunch.
different, right?
That's right.
Because I'm hungry.
You're hungry? We're gonna eat.
Good for it.
All right.
Stick with us because we're going fishing after we eat. Let's go and eat.
All right.
I'm going fishing all the time, and my baby's going fishing too. Bet your life that your sweet wife can catch more fish than you. Any fish will bite if you got the right bait. Now here's a little something that I'd like to relate. With my pole and my line, I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. My baby's going fishing too.
Going Fishing with Darryl Choronzey is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Reliability with every turn of the key. G3 Boats, a Yamaha boat company. Abu Garcia, for life. Berkeley, catch more fish. And by Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix. Closed captioning for Going Fishing is brought to you by Skeet Soap. If you and your family are concerned about DEET, use Skeet. There's absolutely no denying it, at least in Choronzey's opinion, that the freshwater sport fishing in Northwestern Ontario's Sunset Country really is the best in the land. For starters, you're looking at a big, beautiful hunk of Canadian wilderness. We're talking 60,000 square miles of deciduous and pine forest. It's also a picturesque land that is dotted with upwards of 100,000 lakes and tens of thousands of miles of flowing streams and rivers. Waters that are chock full of hungry, aggressive game fish. Today, Choronzey has accepted the invitation from Jackie Duhamel and Jody Morin, owners-operators of Anderson's Lodge at Sioux Lookout, Ontario, to come north and sample the world-famous walleye fishing that Lac Seul has to offer. Stay with us as Darryl and Jody Morin jump into their G3 and go chasing the walleye of Lac Seul at Anderson's camp.
Jody, you got one.
We got one on.
You got one on. All right. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was actually really fast. There's
What
a
do
nice
you got a
walleye.
nice looking walleye there, eh?
Yeah.
Now, what are you running right there? Are you running straight minnows or are you running those gulp minnows?
I'm running some straight minnows here right
minnows,
now.
I figured that. Why do I wonder you northern guys are going to run those straight minnows?
We're just getting gulp up here now.
You guys are meat fishermen up here.
That's right.
Now, okay, Jody, is that a normal size walleye for this lake?
It's actually a good average size fish that we catch on the lake. There's a slot size, 18 to 21 inches.
Okay, now look,
And
now,
so-
real quick, let's talk about the slot size.
Yeah.
Now, Jody, let's talk about your slot size. You've got a slot limit in here. Okay, now explain what it is.
The slot size is it's a slot of 18 to 21 inches of
They've got to be put
fish
back in
that
the
you
water.
have to let go. That's right. So
you're allowed. How many fish are you allowed?
you're allowed 4 fish total in your possession.
Okay, so you can have 4 under the 18, right?
4 under the 18,
And what's your slot?
18 to 21 inches,
And 1 over the 21.
1 over the
inch.
21 inches. So
Okay, and that's to save the spawners.
that actually protects the brood stock of the lake. It's
Spawners.
Spawners, yeah.
You get a lot of your customers saying, "Oh no, I want to keep a lot of big fish," or
No, they're
happy?
actually glad to see that because they're catching that nice quality fish.
Yeah.
They get to let them go and they get a lot bigger fish as well.
The fish you just put in the water. How big was that?
It was probably about a 19-incher.
So what you're saying is, if we've got that slot limit right, we're keeping the lake alive and healthy.
We're keeping the population of this lake extremely healthy.
And you got the spawners.
You got the
doing their thing.
spawners, yes. Yeah.
Jody, how big do they get in this lake?
We'll get walleyes in this lake upwards of 28 to 30 inches.
And how small do they get in this lake?
Well, we get some small ones too.
Because you want to know why?
'Cause
That's not bad. Now, is that your shore lunch?
that's a luncher fish.
Is that a shore lunch?
It is.
Now, you know what I did with that? All I did was cast to that island, right, and just
Yeah.
pop it along the bottom. Are they aggressive at this time of the year? Now we're here the 2nd of September.
That's right. Yeah. Normally they're pretty active bite for this time of the year. September going into the end of the season before turnover. Get lots of activity.
They're feeding up,
They're
right?
feeding up.
So you got a fish like that that's probably 14, 15 inches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's shore lunch.
That's a shore lunch fish.
And you've got this slot in here for one reason, to protect the spawners.
That's correct.
Captain, right under the boat.
Right under the boat.
Now, you tell me one thing. What is a real good, that's a nice fish.
That's a nice fish.
Real nice fish.
Yeah.
What is a good day here?
A good day here, you're talking 60 to 120 walleyes in a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they all like this?
Not all.
Oh,
But
lean
you
over and get him unhooked.
That's right.
Now, that's in your slot size, I would imagine, right?
He's going to be in the slot, yeah.
And how many a day are you talking like this?
Well, if you're out fishing, you get a full day, and you're going to get 60 to 120 walleyes a day, you might get a good dozen of those.
You're going to get a dozen of these every day.
Pretty much every day.
You're guaranteeing it.
I pretty much am.
Take the hook right out of that guy's mouth. He wasn't really, I would say, really hooked, is he?
No.
Hey?
That's it.
Is that a nice fish or is that a nice fish?
That's a beauty.
And you get a lot like this.
We get a lot of fish like that.
Now, have you ever met a guy by the name of Malcolm Lurenberg?
No.
Well, he owns Lurenberg's Lodge, right, up in Nakina?
Yeah.
But that's the Lurenberg lift. They don't move too much when you do that.
No, when you put them under their,
It's
just
that
hold their
air
bellies.
bladder.
Gotta let them go.
He's gone.
He's gone. That's the way we like it.
So you'll catch how many fish here?
I mean, if you're gonna have a banner day out here between the two of us, I'd expect 60 walleyes in the boat in the better part of 3/4 of a day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you got pike here and you got muskie here too.
Pike here, muskie, and we got some great bass fishing as
Okay,
well.
now how do you pronounce a lake? Lac
Seul.
Seul?
Yes.
Or Lac Seul?
Lac Seul.
Okay, how many miles is this lake?
This lake's about 120 miles long.
120 miles. And as the way the bird flies?
As the way the one tip to tip is banana shaped basically. And so from one end around to the other, you're talking about 120 miles. It's 350,000 acres.
Wow. And everywhere I look, you've got bays and you've got,
All
the
beautiful
marshes, you got the
wilderness.
muskie, you got the pike, you got the moose, you got the bear.
It's all here.
It's all here.
It's all here.
And now for the Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix Campfire Comment.
I'm with a real good friend of mine, Kenny Morrison, or should I call you Ken Morrison?
Kenny's fine, or Ken.
Okay, how long you lived in Owen Sound?
30 years.
Now, you went way up north with me 3 years ago now. You had a Twistacat or something like that. You got the proper name?
No, I can't say it.
You know,
no.
I think you got to be a native
Yeah,
Canadian.
you do,
Or,
yeah.
a native North American, and I mean an original to understand that.
That's
name.
right.
Listen, Kenny, did you enjoy the trip?
Excellent.
We ate a lot of
Beautiful.
fish, eh?
We did so.
So you
Yeah.
got something to ask me?
Yeah, when you're doing your shore lunches, okay, what size fish or how many fish do you usually keep?
Okay. A lot of places we go to now say the limit's 5 in Northwestern Ontario. And again, don't take me on this because I have to check my rule books right now. We're in Owen Sound. We're not in Northwestern Ontario. But say you're allowed 5 walleye. Sometimes you're only allowed 3, maybe 4, but usually 3 under, say, 17 or 18 inches, 1 over 18 inches, right?
Correct.
We never try to kill a big fish. That's just me saying that. Now, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not being smart on this. There was another TV host, right? And he said, oh, eat the big ones because their eggs are no good or, whatever. They don't reproduce good. Bull roar, and my backside's getting sunburnt right now over this, okay? Listen, big fish reproduce. Real old big fish don't reproduce well, but most big fish reproduce. And you know why you let the big ones go?
So they'll reproduce.
Yeah, and if it's that big, the little ones could be that big. You know how I know?
That's right.
Listen, think of this. If Michael Jordan, and again, I'm going to get myself in trouble, but if Michael Jordan married a little person or married a midget, right? Is the kid, if she has kids, is he going to grow up to be a basketball player? Not in your life. Big fish, big people make big people usually. Big fish genetically produce big fish. I wouldn't ever kill a big fish for the frying pan unless I was starving to death in the bush. Okay? Yeah. We try and stay within the limits. Well, we do stay within the limits all the time. But eat the smaller fish. Leave the spawners. And whoever said, and I think he's got a TV show, right? You get off this kick, eat the big fish. I've never heard that in my life.
No, it's a bunch of bunk.
Put her there, buddy. We're going north next week.
Right.
Going Fishing returns with more fishing action from Ontario's Sunset Country.
I'm with a real interesting fella. I met him this morning. Joe, what's the last name?
Equable.
Joe Equable. And you're from Whitby?
Whitby, Ontario.
And you heard about this place on some Italian guy's got a radio show, right?
That's right.
I don't listen to it because my TV show is running the same time as
Yes,
the
that's
radio's
right.
going.
That's right.
So he turned you on to Anderson's
Well,
Lodge?
yeah, I heard him talking, and what a great place this was. And I said, my wife, she said, well, I'll phone and book it. Let's see what goes on.
You know? Now tell me something. You left Whitby. How many miles?
1,200 altogether.
1,200. So it took you a couple of days. You probably went to the Sioux and then Thunder Bay?
Yeah, well, we went to the Sioux, and we stayed overnight. Then we went to Thunder Bay. We stayed 2 nights, and then we came up here.
Real nice ride, eh?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the prettiest rides you
Yeah,
can go
that's
anywhere.
excellent. Yeah.
And you like your fishing?
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, here's something you have to understand. We won't talk your age.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
You've been retired a couple of years, right?
20
years.
20
and
years.
this guy is still driving, and you're making that ride from the Toronto area.
Yes, and wait till I tell you what's next. When I go home from here, I'll be home maybe 1 week, and I'll be on my way to Alberta to kill that moose.
You're a big moose hunter, too.
Absolutely.
Listen, it was fun meeting you. It was
Hey,
kind of a shock when I bumped into him and he bumped into me this morning.
Well, I knew when I thought, geez, I'm sure that's Darryl. And I thought, nah.
Pretty good guy.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks very much.
All right,
There
Cap.
we go.
How long did that take? Now, what are
Mere
we over
seconds.
right now? What do you call this place?
This is actually we're just off of Walski's Island. It's called.
Walski's Island.
Walski's
Why do they
Island.
call it Walski's Island?
Just one of the local guides that made it famous, I guess.
Polish guide?
A Polish.
Walski, it's got to be a Polish
guide,
name, am
yeah.
I right?
Yeah.
I'll be getting myself in trouble with the Polacks. But now, let me ask you something. We came out here. What were all those, I want to say, cairns or statues on those islands?
They are memorial cairns that they put up on the lake. There's 9 of them that they put up in memory of some war vets, World War II vets from
9
Hudson.
war vets?
9 war vets that fought in World War II from the Hudson Legion. Hudson is a small town outside of Sioux Lookout.
So they had 9 war vets that died in the Second World War or the First World War? Second
In
World
the
War?
Second World War.
And they
yeah,
named an island off each of them.
off each of them.
I think that's kind of neat. Put your lunch in the
Let's
cooler,
get her
buddy.
in the cooler.
When it comes to fishing and accommodations for fishermen, it's tough. No, let's say it's almost impossible to beat Ontario's Sunset Country. Did we already tell you that Sunset Country is home to some of the finest fishing on the North American continent? Let's just put it this way. It almost relates to a fish for every cast you take. Then again, there are the accommodations to choose from in Sunset Country. Anderson's really is something special. First off, it's located on one of the finest fishing lakes found anywhere in Canada. From your cabin doorstep, you look out on the fishing adventure of a lifetime. Lac Seul is a body of water famed for its fishing and its beauty. There's also something special about the accommodations that await the visiting angler here at Anderson's Lodge. They have comfy pine-sided cottages that are tucked in amongst the ancient wilderness and face out on the lake. Anderson's can accommodate parties of 2 or groups of up to 20. Then there's the food. Anderson's has this famous little restaurant and bar called Foxy's Dining Lounge that's famed for not only the great meals, but also the stories that circulate around the bar near closing time. Trust me, like most places in the north, the tails get stretched and the fish get longer as the evening gets later.
Jody. What's your depth on that Laurent?
We're at 24 feet.
24 feet. Boy, you got a lot of bait down here too, eh?
There's a pile of bait showing down here right now.
Now, what's your bait in here, Jody?
Mostly dace.
Okay.
Um,
Now, let me ask you something. Is that a shore lunch?
that's going to be a shore lunch fish.
That's going in the frying pan.
That's going in the pan today.
You got no guilt conscience about eating that fish?
Not at all.
All right.
This is the best eating fish you got.
I don't think people realize that, if you haven't been north, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what a shore lunch is.
You don't. You got to do it out here.
The experience?
The experience, the fire, the smoke, the fresh fish, just all comes together. It's one of the major parts of the trip when you come out here. The shore lunch is part of the experience, and it just wouldn't be the same if you didn't have it.
Now, I'm not supposed to advertise, right? But wait till you try this shore lunch.
Yeah, we got to try it.
Boy, I was hoping I would have got one at the same time. Right there. You want to know something? Hey, you want to really know something? I was bringing this rod around this way, right?
Yeah.
Talking to you. I said, gee, I wouldn't mind one right about now. This one's got a little bit of beef on him, Jody.
Oh,
nice
yeah.
fish, eh?
That's a nice
Good
walleye.
fish. Good fish. Eh?
That's what we're looking to get into right there.
Now, Jody, is that in the slot?
That is a slot-sized walleye.
So that fish has to be put back.
We're going to put that one back. That's right.
There's a lot of fillet on this fish.
I know, but that's what keeps this fishery at 3 million plus.
Tell you what, he took that gulp. Nice fish, eh?
Beautiful, beautiful walleye.
Now, that's in the slot. You've also got something here that your Sioux Lookout boys have got something together, and you said your partner.
Jackie was instrumental in putting together a program called the Sioux Lookout Master Angler Release Awards Program, and it promotes the release of trophy-sized fish.
Okay.
And so that, in conjunction with the slot size, just allows for a really healthy fishery.
So if I want one of your awards, how big's it got to be?
It's got to be 27.5 inches, and we give out a lot of awards in a year.
That's 33 inches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him go. What do you think? Nice fish, eh?
Beautiful fish.
Now,
Great.
let's be honest. That fish was what?
I was probably
27?
Yeah, he was probably a good 19 inches.
27? So
20.
okay.
All right.
So it's over that 18, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But you've got a lot of fish that size here.
There's a lot. You catch a lot of fish in the slot size.
Okay. Now before I forget,
Yeah.
and I want to do this. This is Sioux Lookout. This area.
That's right.
How did you get the name Sioux Lookout?
Okay, Sioux Lookout came from the legend that the Sioux Indians were coming up the English River system, and the Ojibwe. There's a mountaintop in Sioux Lookout itself that lets you see out amongst the river system.
Okay.
And they were able to see the Sioux coming up, and they put all their women and children on the island so that they could ambush the Sioux and make them retreat, and they were successful.
Now there's a lot of history here, you know, with the different native tribes here, right?
There is.
And I did read that thing about the Sioux,
Yep.
you know, coming up. And the Sioux would come up with their raiding parties, right? And,
Yep.
and the Ojibwe would be here. Now, okay, so you've got Ojibwe here,
Ojibwe,
and you've got Cree.
and there's Cree.
And what do you, there's another name for the Ojibwe and the Cree.
It's the OG Cree.
OG Cree?
OG Cree, yeah. And a very big part of the community is up here.
It's kind of neat.
It is.
Pretty country.
There's lots of history, beautiful country.
Lots of fish.
Lots of fish.
I'm going for more.
Good. Let's go.
And now for the Walker Deeper Diver Tip of the Week, taking your lures down and away. Remember, 60,000 square miles of forests, 1,000 lakes, and tens of thousands of miles of rivers and streams, and fish, fish, fish everywhere. For a free Sunset Country travel guide and map, just call 1-800-665-7567.
Jody, what do you think? It's sunny now.
Sunny now.
This is the land of the changing skies, right?
It is.
It rained this morning. We had a 30% drop in temperature between today and yesterday.
Yeah.
The fish got a little lockjaw.
Yep.
You know, you got to know how to catch the fish when they get lockjaw, that's all.
You do. Yep.
But we got a hurricane named
Gustav.
Gustav, right?
That's
He's
right.
down in New Orleans, but he's actually, the front's already moving up this way.
I think that's what we're getting here.
I go fishing, and you come into the north, right?
Yep.
And you know, you can call me a liar if you want, but I think you'll back me up on this. When you go fishing, for walleye in the north, it's jigs.
That's what you need.
You know,
Yep.
quarter ounce, half ounce, even 3/8 sometimes.
Yeah. Anywhere in that range.
My son got me this. You know that? He bought that for me for my birthday. And I'll tell you what, jigs aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
You know, there's $400 worth of jigs
There's
there.
a lot of jigs there.
And he's not getting them.
No.
Okay, you used what a lot of northerners use. You used the real McCoy,
I use the little fathead minnow.
little fathead minnows,
Yep.
right? And he's got a smile on his face because he gets to sell them to all the customers, and they're not cheap.
They're not cheap, no.
You know, I like the minnows. Don't get me wrong, but if I've got my preferences, I'm going to use gulp.
Use the gulp.
Berkeley says it's got 400 times the scent dispersion of, you know, regular scented baits.
Yep.
And it's a proven fact. It
Yep.
catches a lot of fish. There's no two ways
It
about
caught
it.
a lot of fish today.
I went with yellow. I went with white.
Yep.
And I even had, like, this is the minnow grub.
Yes.
But I used the gulp minnow, too. That's another one that looks
Yep.
more realistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a twister tail, but it's made out of gulp. It's biodegradable, too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
If it breaks off down there, it's not like plastic that's going to be in the bottom of the lake for the, you know, for eons.
That's right.
No telephone poles, no tow trucks.
Nope.
Right? I ran 10-pound test trilene.
Yep.
Right? Little 802 reel. And the rod's a medium light action rod.
Perfect.
That's all you're using.
That's all I'm using. That's all you need.
So listen, when you come north, take it from an expert. It's jigs. It's either jigs and minnow or jigs and gulp. And you don't really need heavy gear for walleye.
No.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
We're going to go fishing, then we're going to go and have shore lunch.
Let's do that.
Let's go.
Going fishing returns with the Napoleon Barbecue Shore Lunch.
Jody, before you go any farther, I
Yes,
want
sir.
the audience to know what you've got right there.
I've got some, they call them bow ties. These are fish fins.
Yep, and they're off the peck.
They're off the peck, yep. A little appetizer before the main course.
There's a lot of meat there. You know, a lot of times people clean fish and they take too much fish for waste.
They just, yeah, I mean, this is great, great eating right here. Just takes a minute for us to cook them up.
Little appetizer.
Little appetizer for
Right?
us. Yes, sir.
And we won't say who's readying that or we're using
No,
right
we
now.
won't. But it sure looks good.
Excellent.
Good. These will be done and we'll get the fish in the pan.
I'm going to leave you alone.
All right.
You know, Jody, my kids say to me sometimes I use the word paradise too often in a show, right? But look around you. This is paradise.
This is it.
Okay, name of this lake.
This is Lac Seul.
Lac Seul. The name of the town right near us.
Sulico.
The name of the lodge.
Anderson's Lodge.
Your website.
www.andersonslodge.com.
And this is paradise, right?
This is it.
Okay, and we are in Sunset Country.
Sunset
You gotta remember
Country.
that?
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna have a bite of paradise. How's
It
that?
is. It's great.
That good?
That's great.
Let's eat,
Yep.
and we'll go fishing some more.
Sounds good.
And if you get the chance, don't pass up the opportunity to get up to Anderson's Lodge at Lac Seul.
Lac Seul.
Let's go for it.
For more information on today's fishing location and other going fishing destinations, visit goingfishingtv.com. Going Fishing with Darryl Choronzey has been brought to you in part by Yamaha, reliability with every turn of the key. G3 Boats, a Yamaha boat company. Abu Garcia, for life. Berkeley, catch more fish. And by Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix.
Going fishing, going fishing. Baby smiling my way, gonna have a great day, no competition. Going fishing, going fishing. We'll be gone, but not for too long, going fishing. We'll be